What's up, everybody? We're back. Our typical Thursday, 4:39. Typical Thursday afternoon. We're a little bit earlier than usual. We usually get it right before the game, but I spent too much time drinking over your house the past few days, so I can't sit around and drink for the game today.
That's fair enough. What?
I mean, we're drinking today. We have Arizona premium spiked beverages. They're warm, so that isn't great, but we've been spoiled with really good spiked iced teas lately. These don't match up. If I had them first, I'd probably love them. The other ones are way better. What do you have? The green tea ginseng.
It'll do though.
It'll do. So let's jump into week 5 preview. Or no, week 5 review. I beat Kurt 120 to 106. It moves me to 3-2 in the big division. It moves Kurt 2-3. Kurt had a decent day. He got 31 out of Jared Goff, 23 out of Montgomery. He didn't get anything during the Packers game. Dobbs got him .9. On my side, I got no one really stood out. Stephon Diggs had 24. That's okay. I mean, it's good, but he's been getting 40s and 30s and 40s lately, so it's almost a down week. And then Calvin Ridley had 20, which is great. Kenneth Gainwell gave me 2 again, so that's an issue. Mark Andrews had 9. Should have had a touchdown, had a couple drops, but
Played a good D, so
I'm happy with it. We won, so that's all that really matters. I hate this. I can't use this finger pad as good as I should by this point. I'd much rather use a mouse, but it looks ridiculous using a mouse on a laptop. Second game. I didn't know you did that. You're an IT guy. I thought you'd have it figured out. Second game, Joey beat Jack. Moves Joey to 2-3. Moves Jack to 2-3. Joey won 143 to 102. Another one, like Ramondre Stevenson got Joey 2 points as his second running back. There's just not good running backs in the league. There's no workhorses anymore. There's those 3 guys you can count on. Barkley's not one of them anymore. He's hurt every year. Eckler's down this year. Henry is not what he used to be. Jonathan Taylor's coming back. But as far as McCaffrey,
that's about it.
and that's about it. I mean, there's other guys like A-Chain got 28. Josh Allen got 28. Joey's getting these big scores. He got 22 out of the Niners defense. The Cooper Cup, Puka Nacua thing worked for a week. He got 30 points out of both total, 17 and 16. So we'll see how long that lasts for him. The other side for Jack Mahomes, 20 points. Henry 7, Miles Sanders 3, Devonta Smith 1. He got 21 out of Gabe Davis, 25 out of his defense, but it wasn't enough. It just put him over 100, 102 to 143. The General Tags beat Abbott 153 to 82. Tags with a big statement. It moves him to 2-3, moves Abbott to 3-2. I think this is 2 losses in a row for Abbott because he was 3-0, I thought.
He was, and that was one of my predictions. It's somebody who would fall. I think he's coming back to earth.
Yeah, 82 points. You don't want to score under 100. He got -1 out of the vaunted Cowboys defense. The Cowboys are fake. I think they've been exposed. I think we've saw that. Kirk Cousins got 21. Alexander Madison got 11. Then his next highest scorer was his kicker with 10. So Brock Purdy dropped 32. He's having a year. Breece Hall came back to score 31. They told everyone we're going to unleash Breece Hall. They did. Denver's terrible.
Yeah.
I think Najee could look good against Denver, so we'll see how Breece looks later in the year. Tyreek Hill with 32, that's what you're getting out of Tyreek Hill these days. Dallas Goedert had a good day with 23. I think Tags was the high scorer with 153. So put that all together, the little guy's $12 richer. This is a tragic game, I think. Pat at 4-1 beat Mark at 2-3 now. Pretty convincingly, 145 to 118. Jalen Hurts had 26. Mostert with 14. Jamar Chase had 48. We sat here and watched the game, and I think he had like 15 targets or something. Without T. Higgins, it's all Jamar Chase. Your issues, you got 50 out of Moore, 17 out of Kelsey, and then not much to speak of. Dak only got you 5. Good San Fran defense, but people in Dallas are pretty upset with Dak. They don't know that he's the guy anymore. He's never been the same after his injury, but it is a tough defense, and he has C.D. Lamb.
I think we'll figure it out.
He's going to have to. Guy that's not going to probably figure it out is Najee. Got 4.5. Brian Robinson with 6 points. Just a lot of. How'd your bench do? Not well. It was just a down week for you, I guess. Are you concerned moving to 2 and 3? You hate to be under 500.
Nah, I'm not concerned. Not yet. I still think I got the pieces in place. Just got a little bad luck. A little down week from pretty much everyone. So
Yeah.
I don't expect to do that 2 weeks in a row.
Jeff continues his dominance, going 5-0, first place in the division. He beat Bry. Bry's 1-4, moves him to 5th place. Jeff only scored 111 points. This was the week to catch Jeff, but it was not to happen with Bry only scoring 96. The big issue is Lamar Jackson, who got rated as like one of the highest ranked PFF quarterbacks of the week, scored 9 points. No touchdowns. Did they run the touchdown in? I don't even remember how they got the touchdown. Lamar they had 7 drops. He looked like, I don't know, I'm not going to get into it.
He didn't look bad.
He looked great, but his team stinks. Ronnie Stanley looked awful. It looks bad. It's not ideal. And then they got to go to London to play Tennessee. And Tennessee's Baltimore's rival. They always seem to meet in the playoffs, and Tennessee gets they had that dust up a couple years ago with the logo, the Tennessee logo.
Right.
I enjoy watching them play Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's very good this year, so hopefully Ravens can get back on track. Kamara with a decent day had 17. Swift with a down day, only 13. His Dolphins defense came up with 16, but again, the Giants stink. So the other side, the Jets defense scored 26 versus Denver. Is Denver the worst team in the league?
I think we're going to see tonight.
No, we're not going to see that. We're going to see them get ransacked tonight.
Well, if they get ransacked tonight, I think their season's over with. They are the worst team. If they put up a little fight, who knows? Then maybe we could see. I mean, you would think you'd eventually see something out of Russell, but we're going to be, 6-7 weeks into the season. If they get ransacked, they're going to pack it in. They'll be done.
Yeah, I heard Russ is playing better. I don't blame him. The defense is terrible, and I think they're talking about trading Jerry Jeudy to the Colts.
Yeah, and they just traded somebody else, too. Well, Randy Gregory was last week.
Yeah,
so.
And I think they're even talking, like they said everyone's on the block. I'd be interested in Patrick Surtain Jr., but whatever. Tua scored 20. Waddle scored 12. Olave scored 8. These are 2 young superstars that just did not pan out this week. Kyron Williams scored 6. He did not have a good week. This was the week to catch him. His defense scored 26. That was about it. It was enough. It was plenty. Last game on the slate, Crump Snatchers moved to 4-1. Palmer with 140 beat Stu. 128. Stu is 0-5. Is Stu the Denver Broncos of the league?
You know what? I think that's a great comparison. They came in. Everyone talked. They had a pretty good roster. They were supposed to make some noise. And lo and behold, only 5 weeks later, they're the worst team.
Aaron Jones didn't play. We discussed that. It was a later game, so I don't think it's 100% Stu's fault. It would have been nice to catch. He was only 12 points away from beating Palmer. That would have been a huge win. We could have used it in our division. But
you know what? He doesn't have anyone on his bench either.
Well, that's what I mean. Barkley. So he would have
had
had to make an early move. I mean, at that point, you can probably drop Charbonnet.
Yeah, that adds a little bit more to it, too. He didn't even have anyone on his bench, so he had to pick up a running back. And, yeah, that one's probably would have lost no matter what.
Yeah, I think so. Etienne had a good day. He had 36. That's pretty much it. 30 out of the Saints defense. Saints defense is really, really good. New England stinks, too, but the Saints defense is strong. Burrow had 28. He looked like a 28.
He's back.
His receiver had 50. He only got 28. That's wild. Hawkins had 20. That's a really good game. Thielen with 24. He's still doing it. Kittle had a big game with 26. I think I would trade Kittle right now just because he's got some heat with him. Anything last week kind of stood out to you?
In this game, just a Jefferson injury.
I forgot about that. A lot of injuries this week.
That's a big blow for Tim. I think you look at his receivers to begin with. He he had Jefferson, and then he had a questionable number twos. Now, it's going to be what? Marquise Brown and Jacoby Myers?
Hmm.
I think Tim might be in the market for a new receiver.
I wouldn't disagree with that. All right. That takes care of the review. We are moving to the preview. I think there's a really big game this week featuring the two stars of the locally broadcast National Keeper League Fantasy Show. Me versus you. I'm 3-2. You're 2-3. Looking at my matchups, everyone said Trevor Lawrence broke out last week. Hopefully, we'll see how that works. But I want to see more out of Bijan Robinson. I'd like to see Diggs against the Giants. Should be good. I want to see that Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence explosion. That would be awesome. Mark Andrews versus Tennessee. I think Andrews is fantastic. And now Jordan Addison, I think, moves up the ranks quite a bit. Jefferson's vacating 15 targets a game. And I know KJ Osborne's there, but if he gets 7 and if he gets 5 and Addison gets 5 more targets, I'll take that. You have Dak versus Chargers. That shouldn't be bad. Brian Robinson versus Atlanta. Atlanta's a pretty tough defense to run on. You're banking on the backup, Tyler Algier. DK, I'm assuming he's playing. He's questionable, but Cincy, that might be shootout-ish. Debo versus Cleveland. I actually think Debo has a really good matchup versus Cleveland because their secondary strong, but I think you're going to see more like screen passes, jet sweeps, the Debo stuff that made him great. Kelsey versus Denver. He was questionable to play. I heard today on Taylor Swift Tracker that she is en route. So she's not going to the game to not watch Kelsey play. DJ Moore, let's see if he can't repeat against Minnesota. I'm going to take myself because that seems like the right thing to do, and I would assume you're taking...
I'm going to take you as well.
That asshole.
With Naj being on a
that is
on
a
bye,
good thing for you.
That's a big blow. I got some tough matchups. Dak's coming off a tough game, so who knows what headspace he's in. Not sure who I have Algier in as that second running back. Not sure if that's gonna stay. And you know what? Kelsey's a little banged up right now. So is it a ploy that he's playing? Is he, how much is he going to be involved?
He didn't do a ton last week.
And then on the other side, Jefferson's out. You got Addison. Mark Andrews is due for a huge bounce back game. He's not going to have those drops again. Your receivers, I think we know, what they'll do. Your second running back, you have Jerick McKinnon in there. I like the move. I think he can put up a lot of points tonight. He comes out of the backfield, catches passes for them. And then Lawrence did. I think Lawrence kind of righted the ship there. So I'm going to pick you.
I appreciate the support. Next game is Jeff. I keep seeing the hodgepodge of nothingness, and my cousin Paul has the same name in my other league, so it freaks me out.
Really?
They said that about the Pirates. The Pirates had a hodgepodge of nothing. That was a year ago or 2 years ago or something. But if you look now, if they spend $30 million this offseason, they will be a wild card contending team next year. So is that with $30 million? Is that one big pitcher, two decent pitchers, a pitcher and a bat? I mean, there's options, and I hope they're not counting McCutcheon on that because you have to sign him, but he's not really a good help. Jeff 5-0 versus Joey 2-3. Is this the week that Jeff loses? He has Tua versus Carolina, Waddle versus Carolina, McCaffrey versus Cleveland. We discussed it. I think this might be. I don't think they're a hard-hitting defense. I don't know that San Fran needs to use McCaffrey. I think it's going to be a lot of Debo and a lot of other misdirections. I don't think they're just going to line up and let McCaffrey take 30 hits from that defense. We'll see. Kyron Williams versus Arizona. That could be a really good game script. They could be up big early and, finish it off. Olave versus Houston. I don't think we really saw what team Houston is yet. They looked really good versus the Steelers. Didn't look as good last week. Young team, young coach. I guess it's going to just be that week to week and see what you get. Hawkinson, a big surprise versus Chicago. We'll see. Mike Evans versus Detroit. He did not play. He did not practice today. He didn't practice Wednesday. I don't know if he practiced today yet or not, but that could be a problem. He also is sitting there with James Conner in the IR. They're talking about trading Jerry Jeudy. So do you play him tonight or do they sit him out? I don't know if they do that. Michael Pittman on the bench. The other side for Joey, we are looking. This doesn't catch up fast enough. It drives me nuts. Josh Allen versus Giants. That's fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs. Is Gibbs even startable at this point?
Unless you don't have another running back, I'd say no. David Montgomery has gotten pretty much 80% of the carries there. He's done
nothing to make you lose carries.
Gibbs has done nothing on the flip side, and you even heard the coach talk about it this week that Montgomery's the workhorse.
Yep.
So I could see them feeding him the rock more, especially with Gibbs being a little banged up. There's really no reason to keep giving him the ball at this point.
I agree. I think I'm going to take Jeff in this matchup. Joey got Ramondre, who, whatever. Kirk and Kupp and Puka, Laporta, they're not bad. San Fran versus Cleveland defense. I still think you can't really bet against Jeff till he loses, till he gives you a reason to bet against him.
Yeah, I'm same with, I agree. I think Jeff right now, he doesn't have any holes, and even where he has a hole, he had to place on his bench to kind of replace him. Your brother, I think, Joey, his running backs, I think, are pretty weak. I still think the Cooper Kupp, Paku Nakua, that's going to come back to kind of bite him in the butt at some point. So, I think Jeff continues the rule.
Next game, I got the Crumb Snatchers versus SA Quarantine. Palmer 4-1 versus Abbott 3-2. Why don't you take this one? I'd like to hear your thoughts on Palmer and Abbott's matchup.
This is a pretty fair matchup when you start to look through it now. We talked about it. Tim's dealing with a lot of injuries. I do like the C.J. Stroud start, but he's playing against a good New Orleans defense, so I don't know if I love it this week. He has good running backs, but other than that, I think his lineup I think he's in a tough spot. He's 4-1, but I think it's 4-1 with smoke and mirrors at this point. On the flip side, Abbott's 3-2, coming off a 2-game losing streak. You know what? I don't love Cousins at this point. I still like his running back. I like Pollard. I like Kenneth Walker. Madison's an okay third running back. Even Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen, not bad. Not the best receiving core, but not a bad one. I think Abbott wins this game. I still don't think I don't think he's the high-scoring team of the week like he was at the beginning of the year, but I think Abbott has it pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm looking. I actually kind of like Palmer's team, but he's only projected 109. Abbott's 124, so I'm trying to see where the big discrepancy is.
What do you like about his team?
Well, I like Stroud, but not against New Orleans. I love Etienne. I thought he looked, as they say, Lawrence got over the hump last week. I think Etienne was the star of that team. He looked fantastic. Josh Jacobs versus New England, whatever. Marquise Brown, he's the only guy left there with no Connor. I don't know. They're okay. I'm actually going to take Abbott. Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen are probably going to carry the load, and I do like Cousins. He's probably, was he a top 5 quarterback right now? 2. He's a second quarterback. Who's number 1? Oh, I'm not even sure. We'll have to figure that out.
Josh Allen, maybe?
I don't think it is. Because I don't think he had one of them. Oh, it's probably Tua after a 70-point game. I'll have to look. So, yeah, I'm taking, I guess we're both taking Abbott here. Just to keep on track, last week I went 4-2, you went 3-3. And we both lost because we both picked you 50 points to 0 at that point. Next game. Kurt, Army of Northern Virginia, 2-3 versus Grant Union Army, 4-1 versus Pat. So this is the game, the battle of the names, the North versus South, the Union versus the Confederacy, the Liberals versus the right, what are the Conservatives, I guess. Kurt got Herbert back but it's against Dallas, so they're going to try to prove something. Eckler coming back. So Herbert has a broken finger, I think, on his non-throwing hand. Eckler's coming back off an injury. They're both questionable versus a tough Dallas defense that we thought was tough. Maybe they're not. Micah Parsons is mad because Kittle wore a F Dallas shirt. So we'll see if they come out and prove something. Pacheco versus Denver. He should feast. Higgins versus Seattle. If Higgins is back and healthy, he probably thrives there. I don't play Higgins and Boyd. I know that. Is there another receiver somewhere? Drake London, maybe? Brandon Cooks, Romeo Dobbs. He needs another receiver bad. He has Montgomery in a flex. That's a pretty strong flex. Ferguson's doing well. The other side, Pat got Hurts versus the Jets. Let's not pretend like the Jets have a chance in this one. But their defense is good versus Philly. Battle of the green. We'll see who wins. James Cook, has he slowed down at all? 17th. He fell back a little bit. Playing the Giants will probably help that, though. He'll probably move back up. Mostert, now this is interesting. We have Mostert. We have Jeff Wilson might be back. We have A-Change gone now. They're getting running backs left and right. We'll see. Does Jamar Chase keep his hot streak up? A.J. Brown. Does Hurts hook up with him? Does Sauce shut him down? We'll see what happens. And Njoku, whose face was on fire last week. Did he just pick Njoku up?
No,
I thought Palmer had him. Maybe not. Amari Cooper versus San Fran. I want to talk about this. Amari Cooper, without Watson, I don't know that he's 40. He's 39th receiver. And Watson doesn't appear like he wants to play football anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of odd what's going on with Watson right now.
He got cleared last week and just said he couldn't play. He's medically cleared. He's not playing or practicing. So
because with Cooper, or with Watson, Cooper was having a great year.
Yeah, for sure. He was doing well. We'll see. I mean, I don't know this Watson thing. Who's the worst contract? Watson or Russell Wilson? The worst.
Watson. It's fully guaranteed.
At least Denver can get out. I mean, they burned a ton of. So did Watt. They both burned a ton of draft capital.
Yeah, they traded. Oh yeah, that Watson contract's bad.
What a mess. And they have a really good. They have a great elite defense, and you would think with 3 firsts you could have maybe found a quarterback somewhere. But
and the coach is essentially throwing him under the bus, saying he was medically cleared.
I don't think they have a very good coaching staff. I think they threw Baker under the bus too.
They did.
I don't think they know how to manage a quarterback. He wants to be a DC. It seems like. I think I'm going to take Pat in this, assuming that Chase and Browning and the Bills' defense carry him to a victory.
I'm going to agree with you again. I think this is actually pretty easy. Herbert, Eckler both banged up. Higgins and Boyd. I think that's tough, considering neither one of them are the number 1 receiver on the team to start 2 and 3 on the same team as your starting receivers. And then going up against actually the number 1 in Chase, A.J. Brown, Cooper, and Mostert now getting the start there, I think it's too much.
I would agree. Next game is Stu, 0-5, projected 82 points, still has Aaron Jones in, versus Tagmeyer, 2-3. Brock Purdy versus Cleveland. Interested to see how that plays out. Taylor versus Jacksonville. Breece Hall versus Philly. Philly got a pretty stout defense. Tyreek Hill versus Carolina. Garrett Wilson, I'm not. Well, he's 29th. He's better than Cooper. He's not what he was supposed to be. It's a problem at quarterback. Damian Pierce versus New Orleans might be tough for Stu. Burrow versus Seattle. Burrow looked good last week. We'll see if he's healthy. Khalil Herbert versus Minnesota. D-Hop versus Baltimore. I'm curious to see how Hopkins plays. I know Baltimore wanted him. He wasn't available at that time, so they got Beckham. They couldn't get both. We'll see what happens. Steelers versus Miami. That might be Carolina just trying to catch up and launching it all day. Kittle versus Cleveland. Ayuk versus Cleveland. A lot of 49ers here.
A lot of dogs upstairs, too.
A lot of dogs here. So he has Amon-Ra on the bench. Barkley's on the bench. Whatever. Is he going to field a roster this week? I'm going to take I'm going to take Tags. I don't think it's even a legit game at this point if something doesn't work out.
Yeah, you know what? If Stu puts Barkley in, if Barkley's playing,
if Barkley's healthy and Amon-Ra's healthy, it changes things.
Then Stu has a pretty good roster. I like that the second running back is tough with Jones on bye, and he is dealing with Barkley's injury, Herbert's injury, so I can understand that.
Yeah, even Herbert's doubtful. So
Tags on the flip side, I'm still not sold on Jonathan Taylor.
Zach Moss looks too good to do anything with.
Being in his starting lineup, I think that it's still a little bit early for him to kind of get back in the flow of things. And I don't know, Dallas Goedert scored a lot of points last week. I don't know if he does it again. Yeah, it's tough because, I want to pick Stu, but I think I'm just going to go with tags. Play it safe.
Yeah, you're probably right. Last game, Rough Cats, Bra Guy, 1-4. Returned doubtful. Jack 2-3. I think it's a big game for Jack. If he wants to remain in it, I think he's going to have to win this one. Lamar versus Tennessee in London. Kamara versus Houston. Swift versus Jets. We'll see if he keeps it up or not. CD versus Chargers. We talked about Dak. Osborne at Chicago. We talked about Jefferson not being there. Kyle Pitts. Bleh. Still has Chubb on his roster. Patrick Mahomes versus Denver. That should be a clinic. Henry versus Baltimore. I think Hopkins might have a chance to really do something. I don't think Henry's going to do. Derrick Henry's not going to beat the Ravens. If they lose, it's going to be a lot of Hopkins, a lot of receivers, a lot of passes. We'll see. Miles Sanders versus Miami. We'll see if he can't get back right. Devonta Smith versus Jets. Again, that tough Jets defense. I really like Gabe Davis. We got Gabe Davis versus Giants. We'll see what happens here. Although he's projected to lose, I think I'm going to take Jack in this matchup. I think he needs it more than Bry does.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite way.
So we have one game that we have different now.
You know what? I like Bry Guy's lineup. I think Kyle Pitts. He had a pretty good game last week for once. Hopefully that they can keep that rolling down in Atlanta. I think Bry Guy has really helped out with Jefferson being gone, being able to put Osborne in the lineup there. The top of his lineup is Jackson, Kamara, and Swift. I think is solid. Jack, on the other hand, Mahomes and Henry, I think, are solid. Miles Sanders is a question mark at this point. He's questionable to begin with, but then who knows what's going on in Carolina? Who knows how much longer? They keep playing hard down there because it seems like it's a dumpster fire. And then Devontae Smith, Shark, Ingram, I'm not huge on any of them. Smith could have a decent game, but other than that, I don't see Jack pulling it out, and I see Jack continuing to fall.
I see that. Quick recap on the free agents because I got the crown jewel this week. Amare DeMarcata, the Arizona backup running back. I got him for 22. Tags bid 21. Jeff bid 16. Mark bid 15. Bry bid 10. I wonder if he wasn't going to drop Chubb in that matter. Next one was Michael Wilson, Arizona receiver. Jack got him. See there, Keontae Ingram. Pat got him for $3. I got Stafford for $3.
Good pick.
David Njoku, Grant, he got drafted for $3. So yeah, Njoku was on Palmer's team. Palmer got scared and dropped him. Kind of Browns defense. I wasn't even sure the Browns defense was out there. Again, Jeff got them, so we'll see how that works out for him. Okay. So I guess it's time for the power rankings.
All right. Well, this segment is brought to you by Chicky Crack Outdoors.
I have updates on that. He's very happy for the shout out. He likes being associated with the show. He always has some pointers and tips on what we can do to improve. Like Tara, he doesn't love this wall. So he was going to donate a taxidermied skunk.
I think it would look phenomenal there, and I think Tara would love that.
He says it's very, very popular to have skunk in their house because it's a good conversation piece. So I can't disagree with that. He also retired today. He got his official retirement. Congratulations. He said it's a bittersweet day. I don't think there's any updates on the Bigfoot front.
Well, there's a big story this week.
That's the one I sent you that McAfee did after we did it. So
I think it's safe to say that was fake.
Fabrication. Skunk, Bigfoot. I got a fishing report after you're done. Fire away with the power rankings.
All right, coming to number 12. I don't think it's any surprise. Losers of 5 in a row. Dirty Sanchez.
You can see that. No much of an argument.
Coming in at number 11 and dropping 2 spots. Losers of 3 in a row. I picked them to win this week, though. The Rough Cats.
Bry, getting close to the bottom.
Coming in at number 10. Also losers of 3 in a row, loses 3 in a row. Jack.
Jack's plummeting.
He's falling quick. Had a hot start, especially after winning the championship last year. Now injuries, a lot of things caught up to him. He lost 3. He's playing Braga. I guess it's the battle of the basement almost.
Someone should move up after this week.
Coming in at number 9, losers 2 in a row. Army and North.
Wow.
Northern Virginia, whatever. I always cut it short.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kurt, I think Kurt has a lot of holes, especially with the receivers, dealing with some injuries, and no help this week going up against one of the highest scoring teams. Coming in at number 8, we have the winner of 1 in a row, jumping 3 spots, the General.
Look at Tax climb up. He's still not in a playoff spot yet.
Not yet, and you know what? He's had some, he managed to kind of waddle through the waters the first few weeks. He got Taylor back, but he did lose, the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers, which affects Breece Hall, so we'll see what happens with the General, but at least he's bouncing back a little bit. Never fun to see him in the basement. Coming to number 7, and moving up 3 spots too, is Cup of Joe. Now, I don't know if he's going to sustain it. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. He had a bunch of young rookies on the team. They were all performing really well. The problem is, doesn't have a ton of depth. Lost one of the rookies with A-Chain going out, and with Cooper Kupp and Nakua now both being back and healthy. I think that hurts him as well. Coming in at number 6, a team that we talked about it, losing 2 in a row, dropping a few spots. SA Quarantine. They were one of the highest
Hold on a second. Okay.
What? Are you taking guesses or?
I have a couple spots filled out,
okay.
and that was one I was sure of, and
No, number 6 is SA Quarantine. They lost 2 in a row. We talked about it from the beginning. They would, didn't see them holding that spot up at the top. They're now on the fringe of the playoff spots.
Okay.
Coming at number 5 and holding the same spot as last week, one of the few teams to do that, is the Swifties.
Okay. I was...
lost one
heartbreaker
last week, but against one of the highest scoring teams. It's what I would say it's equivalent to is in college football, Alabama and Georgia play each other in the regular season. Okay. Just because one of those teams wins and the other one loses, that doesn't drop the other one completely out of the playoff contention. Notre Dame played Ohio State this year. Notre Dame lost. That one loss, though, they're out of it. When Michigan plays Ohio State, it's the same thing. So just because one team loses, it doesn't necessarily always knock them down.
Okay. I'm glad I know that now.
Coming in number 4, rising 2 spots, Batting Lawn.
Yes.
Now, we talked about it. I think, you've steadily risen up the rankings. Think the team is solid at this point. And you're in the middle of the playoff hunt.
Yeah, and the big thing is that Mark roadblock. If you get past that, I'm basically number 1 in my mind now.
Coming in at number 3, and this is a team, they won 4 in a row, I believe, that similar to what we saw with SA Quarantine, similar to what we saw with some of those other teams. I think they're up at the top of the rankings right now, just all smoke and mirrors. That's the Crumb Snatchers.
Yep.
He won 4. He deserves to be in that spot at this point, but I don't see it lasting.
Week to week, that's all we can do.
Coming to number 2, Grant's Union Army. You know what? A week ago at this point, I would have said, I could see him falling. I could see him. The good news for him is A-Chain's out. Yeah. So he has a clear-cut number 1 running back at this point, which was his weak spot. So I think for the time being, he'll stay at the top of the rankings. And then number 1, no question, really not much to say, is Jeff. Although, I throw this out there. Jeff he dealt with some Connor injury now. Mike Evans is a little banged up. But if I told you one running back at the beginning of the year was going to get injured, what running back would you pick?
Christian McCaffrey. Gets
injured every year. He's been as healthy as it's been. Yep. If I told you one quarterback was going to get injured, what quarterback would you say?
I would assume Tua.
Tua's been knocked out how many times? Both of those two have yet to be injured, so I don't want to be the mush, but I would be a little concerned about moving forward if that they haven't missed a game yet. Will they? Who knows? But until they do, Jeff's number one.
Jeff's number one. There you go. So to round this out, and we'll bookend it, both sides of Jake. So the fishing report this week, as of 10/9/23, Mon River Pool 3, water's at 65 degrees. The feed bags are on. Schools are in session and trapping bait fish. Find the bait fish, find the smallies. Oh, find the bait fish, then you find the smallies. Recommend small swim bait style boot tail or split with something with bottom contact like a trig or tube. The bite should only pick up from here. I don't know what any of that means. I'm sure everyone that needs to know what that means is on board. So hopefully, I guess our fishing report guy's going out tomorrow to check to see.
I was just going to say, if anybody wants to fish, call Tags. He'd love to have you on the boat. He always wants a good partner to fish with.
Yeah.
He'll be leaving bright and early.
He does, and he doesn't talk at the bait shop guy.
I heard that he doesn't talk at the bait ship guy, that he will actually give you an agenda of when you're allowed to eat, when you're allowed to speak, when you're allowed to put your sunscreen on, when you're allowed to cast certain ways, when you're allowed to do anything.
It's a lot, I heard. It's a lot on that boat, I heard. Speaking of hearing, we have a new microphone today. We had the one I had before was directional. It was better at your old houses. We're all facing one way. This time we're facing opposite, so this is supposed to be more of a conference mic. I'm curious if Jack thinks it's better, worse, or the same.
Did Jack comment and watch?
He used to, when I first got the camera and first got the microphone, he reached out and he actually told me what camera and mic to get. I got those ones, and he gives me technical advice when I need it. Jack's also a big game streamer, used to be. I heard he got NHL. Guess that's fun for him and Tom.
Braga was talking about getting it too.
Yeah, well, I guess this is the good one. Last year wasn't good to get, I guess.
Are you going to get it?
No, it's Madden season. Speaking of video games, A.J. Dillon was on Farm Simulator. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah. I know he has a life, but he's farming at like 3 in the morning after being a terrible running back all season.
He's coming off the best game he's had all year.
Not
so
a good thing to brag about.
Maybe that's what he enjoys. I respect it.
I'm sure it does.
I
I'm sure he
respect
does.
it.
Would you start Lawrence versus Indy or Stafford versus Arizona this week?
I think I would start Lawrence. Just because, you know what, I see him as the up-and-coming. Stafford's been playing great. I just don't love the Rams.
Yeah, I don't either, but now they got Cup back and Puka.
I could see them blowing the Rams out early. I could see Jacksonville and Indy being a little bit of a closer game, back and forth. So Lawrence putting up a little bit bigger numbers just on a higher scoring game.
We'll see. Now, this is not for anyone to take the wrong way. This is just for information for our esteemed commissioner or anyone looking to not be in the league any longer. Bill Jacobs is absolutely interested in joining our league this year, or next year. So I know that if there's one spot, I've heard rumblings of maybe 2 people. I think Bitterman could be. If Bill's in, I'm sure Bitterman will get in because then they can have another rivalry. But Bill is, I think Bill would be a good fit for. I think he was in the league originally when we first started. I know Bitterman was because he's the Rich Gannon story, and then it went to D'Agostino's league, and then we started again after D'Agostino's league. Kind of, everyone fell out of that.
As long as they put a lineup in, pay attention, and want to make trades, I'm fine with it.
I think after doing Guillotine here, it sparked them. They're like, we haven't.
They found a love for the game again.
It's reinvigorated.
Do you think our show has anything to do with that as well?
I think they would definitely watch the show if they were in the league. They might watch it not being in the league. I don't know how many concurrent viewers we have lately.
I think people see the show and want to be a part of the league.
if I wasn't on the show and saw this show, I would absolutely want to be part of it. I think it's pretty much all I got. We're at the 39-minute mark, just about to cross 40. Anything happening? Tonight we got KC Denver. What do you expect here?
I expect a big game out of Kelsey with Taylor Swift in the stands. Probably 2 touchdowns, 100-plus yards, 30 fantasy points.
And do you think you win if that happens?
Nah, still probably.
You still need DJ Moore to put up 3 touchdowns. Anything? What's the big high school game? Any big high school games this week?
No, but was that last week? Last week, Central Catholic lost. Pine Richland beat Central Catholic.
Is Pine Richland a powerhouse?
Pine Richland was good, but Central was number 1, maybe number 1 in the state, so that was a big upset.
I'm not shocked by them being number 1 in the state. All right. We're still a few weeks away from Halloween, so you can get your costume figured out later.
I figured it out.
What do you got? Surprise?
Maybe I'll wear it on the show.
That would be fantastic.
When's our next?
7 days, the 19th.
So maybe
the
on
26th.
the 26th, I have baseball scheduled. So maybe if we did a show around the 27th or so, I know what I'm going to be. I could do in costume.
Fantastic. I think we'd all be excited for that. All right. That's a wrap. Anything else? You watching anything new?
Nah, nothing. Tonight will be the first night I've been home all week.
A lot of sports.
A lot of sports.
There
You
goes.
watching anything new?
No, I kind of hit a wall with Suits. Mike's gone, then he goes here, then he goes there, now he's back. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. I'm not interested in the Rachel storyline anymore. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching Entourage for about the 15th time, and I'm trying to catch up on Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon, because apparently you have to watch that to be able to watch Ahsoka. Palmer will not assist me with my questions until I finish Rebels.
What is Ahsoka?
Ahsoka Tano is a new live-action Disney Plus Star Wars, the next in the series. And it skips around. It's just too much going on. I think they've bled the well dry.
Sounds like it.
Like Palmer wanted. He's watching a show. What's it called? It's another cartoon they came out with that he says absolutely horrible. It's a tough watch. I said, "Oh, are you done?" No, I have to watch it so I know what's going on. But he's not enjoying himself whatsoever.
Sounds horrible.
It does. That's a wrap. I wonder if Palmer's ever gonna come back on the show again.
Nah, well, if not, we need to maybe him and the skunk.
That would
Picture
be
him
awesome.
and the skunk.
I don't want to put a nail in the wall though to hang the picture.
We'll figure it. Tape.
Okay. Till next week.
Adios.